That stuff matters, carved in stone. Every stitch and every tone. Living, loving, grinding through all the nerdy things we do.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to That Stuff Matters, Season 2, Episode 1. This would actually be the 26th episode, which is, when I started last year, I didn't think I would do that many.
No.
And here we are. Yeah. And I have a lot of guests on my list that I want to get to this year. And I don't know if I will do every single week all year long, but I want to do more than what we did last year.
Cool.
So
That's a commitment.
there's the update.
There's a New Year's resolution.
Yeah.
Throw that in there.
I don't want to name it that because I'm not very good at sticking to those.
I'm terrible at that.
I'm not very good at sticking to those. But, you know, our favorite guest, co-host most of the time. With me today, Mr. Ian Thudium. Ian, how you been?
I've been good, man. What are we sitting here at the 19th day? Is that right?
19th of January, 2026.
And we're definitely not 19 degrees outside.
Oh, my. I got on 2 hoodies, if you've noticed.
It's cold. It's cold. So it's been a little while since the podcast, but we've went through Thanksgiving, went through Christmas, so I guess we got quite a bit to talk about.
Yeah, it was busy. It got so busy, I would come in the morning and I just didn't have time to try and schedule anybody in. I didn't have time to work out. I was just sitting over there. So
Making
I missed
hats,
it.
doing shirts.
Yeah, I had a couple big orders of hoodies that ate up a big chunk of my life, and then you mix in like the odds and ends little things that we did around Christmas, tumblers, and we do a lot of laser engraving anymore. So
And all the family stuff.
yeah, well, and that always comes at the end. So it's like Christmas Eve or the day before Christmas Eve, I'm sitting here making the family's Christmas gifts that I forgot about.
We just finished up Christmas last weekend.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you got a big family.
Well, and my wife's mother has a birthday that, you know, is fairly close to Christmas. So we kind of always wait to do that one till her birthday. So kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, that's nice.
Because we got enough. We got 2 grandkids that are bang, bang right at Christmas, you know, 23rd, 24th. Oh, yeah.
My daughter's birthday is on December 20th, so I get it. It's like right there.
Yeah. I got a family member named Noel. Remember that? It's
you
right on
do.
there.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. It was always interesting at Christmas. It's always a big
And I
fight.
got to get her on here.
Noel?
But when I asked people for who they would like to see, she was one of the top vote getters.
she's something else, and Noelle is always exceeded what you'd think she'd do. I mean, this early childhood stuff, she started this stuff back in high school.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she really did. I mean, you could tell it was a passion for her back then, and she's just continued to do it. And you know, I'm I'm fortunate. I'm on the session, and Noelle is too, at the Presbyterian Church where they have the PCH, Presbyterian Children's House, and so, you know, I'm kind of up to date on, you know, most of the time on what's going on there, and we got a waiting list.
Yeah.
And she's got a waiting list, and I mean, she's got the help in there. She's bringing high school kids in, getting people involved, and the great thing about it is, you know, she brings one of those high school kids, she ends up getting a worker, you know, when they graduate, so it really works out. And I think that her number 2 just got just finished up her education, so maybe going to free Noelle up a little bit. You might be able to get her on the podcast.
I need to.
She's pretty busy.
Yeah. But she's always been someone who really just cares about kids. And like not just like that they're okay and that they're actually enjoying their time where they're at, that they're outside, that they're playing, that they're doing things that make them kids, you know, not just boxing them in.
Well, she's kind of a root cause kind of person, where like she doesn't just look at the surface level on how these kids are doing. She's always been somebody that digs a little deeper. You know, where does this go? Where does this start? How do we fix this young? Mm-hmm. You know, and she's great at it. Yeah, she's great at it. I mean, you just don't go to. She's one of those people. My wife's kind of like that too. You know, when there's a little kid around, they just gravitate to him. Mm. They just end up, you know, in their lap at some point. You know, and Noelle's one of those folks.
Yeah, she's always been. Well, that family, your family, it's like the Thudiums will show up, and it's like you're like, thank the Lord that they're here, because you needed 10 workers, and well, they brought 11.
You know, it's just the way it works. And just the way that we were raised. It's, we don't see it as exceptional or anything different than what anybody else would do. Had they had the opportunities we've had, we were fortunate. Our parents gave us, great opportunities in life. We had a great start.
Yeah.
And, our grandparents were always there to guide us, and they were always digging in, Our grandparents were digging in, and we were there. And once you realize that it's more about showing up than it is about all the planning and all this.
Mm-hmm.
Just, sometimes you just need hands.
Oh man, that's consistently been like the one thing I think I preach to most people, whether we're talking about sports or in the gym or at work, whatever it is. If you can develop the trait where you just show up, regardless of if it's going to be hard, if it's going to suck, if you don't know what's going on, just show up. That's most of the battle.
Well, I don't know how many times I've showed up and not had a clue what's going on. I every year at the Main Street auction, and I know we're probably going to talk about that a little bit here in a little bit, and the casino night,
Yep.
the chamber's doing, and both of them, called me up and, hey, would you do this? And you just do it.
Yeah.
You just go do it, and
You give back.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is. But I mean, it's when it's second nature, it doesn't seem that way. It's just what you do. I mean, the girls down there on the design committee at Main Street every year they decorate, and you've been there the night before when they start decorating. I show up, and most of the time I got to be honest, when I get there, I'm not in a good mood. I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be something, because it is, and and then you just get in the system and go. This is the process. Stay in the process. We'll get to the end of it.
Yep. Yeah, I think last year the main message of the show was giving back, and
That's my phone, buddy.
that's it. That we're going to talk about.
I don't even know where it's
We're going
at.
to talk about that.
Ooh, guy I hunt with. Let's turn that off.
I think the main message was giving back and volunteering and just becoming active in your community, your organization, rather than complaining, which I still see a lot of. But yeah, and I'm gonna try and take it a step farther this year. Who knows what will happen? But I did put my name in the hat. We're gonna run for school board, hopefully.
Good deal.
So
Well, I like the way you phrased that. We are going to run for school board, because when the school board and city council and anything like that, it's a family affair.
yeah, I mean everybody's got to be on board.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
But
My last Labrador I brought home when everybody else wasn't on board, and never works out.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll see. We just continue to find ways to give back. And here's the thing: like, do I need another thing on my plate? Well, no, probably not. But I've always said that I don't mind, and it's really actually something I chase is like failure, like as far as trying to manage everything and do it well. And I'm always going to give it 100%. But I think if you are okay with failing and learning from it immediately, trying to implement what went wrong, that's how you improve. So anybody can.
Well, I think you'll make.
watch
I think you'll make a great school board member.
Well,
I
appreciate
mean,
that.
I do. I mean, I think that if the qualities are, you like working with kids, you like government, you like,
And you show up.
you like showing up, then I'd say that you're qualified.
Yeah. There's a lot of good candidates though, so we'll see. We'll see.
So hopefully somebody will throw a little mud at you, dig up some old dirt. That's what we like to do in politics nowadays. Let's dig something
There
up.
we go.
I don't know if we got any. I'm sure we could find something.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Be easier to find it on me than you, but
We'll see. Let's see what else we've been up to.
well, we had Thanksgiving, had a big Thanksgiving with my family at my grandma's. That was awesome. Waterfowl season started for us.
We got to talk about this because I think the hottest topic I see on social media right now is flooding corn and changing the migration patterns of the northern birds.
Yeah. Well, specifically, I mean, now we got to get into this. Now, I'm going to say right up front, I had a tremendous waterfowl season. I had probably one of the best seasons I'd had. Certainly the best season since I've got my hunting rights back that I've had. But it was actually a wonderful season. And when myself and my friend Jody Graff and Scott Collins and Jim Rainin and so many others, Mike Landau, Clayton Gregory. There's so many of them that we hunt with, and people that we know that this isn't waterfowl season for us is not a November to January, and that's what we do. Right. When you talk about hunting season, normally you talk about when it opens and when it closes. When you're a waterfowler and you want to do it and you want results, it becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's what we live. We not only do we,
which includes land management.
Land management. We plant the crops. We plant the moist soil. We mow it. We spray it. We do tree mitigation programs, to take out undesirable trees so pin oaks can thrive, and all the grasses that come with that. It's a big project. And then when you get closer to waterfowl season, you got to talk about pumping water. We got to pump water, and that is an almost a 1 solid month project of gassing generators and gassing up pumps and moving pumps, and we actually help several other landowners around that don't have the proper pumping equipment, and we try to get in there and help them.
I think it was last season. There was an episode you were going to be on, and we had to kind of reschedule or something because you were busy pumping.
Well, that was actually pumping water.
Where was that?
That was actually
videos.
That was actually pumping water due to a July flood that we had, and once the corns come up, you can't have water sitting on it too long; it's going to kill it. So what we were doing was we were actually pumping water off of the desirable waterfowl crops. We were trying to get that off there so that there was an actual, so you go in and combine the corn or whatever they were going to do with it, so it didn't die. So that's what we were doing at that point. I do remember that. And that was in July, and the mosquitoes were thick.
Ooh.
And it was muddy.
Ooh.
But we got it done. Actually, one of the places that we salvaged at the end of the season ended up being a real good honey hole for us. But going back to this corn topic, and I'll give you some pictures so you can throw them in. I'll give you some pictures of our hunting season, which was great. The birds came early. It was a weird season for us because the birds came in kind of in. We didn't have, you know how this fall, how the weather's just been up, down, and it's like one day it's this, next day it's that. It's more like our springtime weather this fall was. Yeah. Well, it was like that with the ducks too. It was like real high highs and real low lows. We'd get a bunch of ducks in, but they'd only be huntable for a couple days, and the weather would go stale on you, and they would hide somewhere, and you wouldn't see them. But for the most part, we had a super, super good season, in November was amazing. We killed a lot of the, we had some really great hunts on gadwall and teal, and we saw a lot of widgeon this year, which is a duck we don't normally kill a lot of, but we saw a lot of them, and we had some pretty good harvest. We harvested some pintails, and then the mallards came down late, and that's where the flooded corn situation is. It really has nothing to do with any of those other ducks that I mentioned. It simply has to do with the mallard duck making what we feel like in the north. Now we're not against any studies. I mean, there isn't, besides the bald eagle and the wild turkey, there probably isn't an animal with wings that's studied any harder than a mallard duck. In the duck world, 4 or 5 greenheads, whatever the limit is for most guys, for most waterfowlers out there, that's a trophy strap. A limited greenheads. Yep. And but these birds, we kind of feel a little different than the guys in the South, and what we feel for the guys in the South, we wish them the best luck. Go get your limit every day, but the birds just aren't going that far south anymore, and it's been a steady decline for a lot of years, and there's many reasons.
And as a total outsider to this, but I've been following along. I read all the posts and try to watch. They really blame people here in Missouri for flooding that corn and just basically stopping those birds from flying south?
They're picking on a few. They're picking on a few. It's a lot of the commercial guys that they just chose to pick out and say that, and it's just like anything else, like politics. People have drawn sides. They're clipping videos, taking people out of context, and just running with it. And they've got a bunch of people fired up about it. Senator Kennedy down in Louisiana has written a letter recently to the Fish and Wildlife Service, who does all of our waterfowl tallies and tells us how many we can kill and gives guidelines and does all that business, right? And he's asked for a study to find out, why the mallards aren't going as far south. And in doing that, which is fine, he wasn't leading when he wrote his letter. I've written it. It wasn't leading. I read it. It wasn't leading at all. He just simply asked for a study to see what's going on. And he had some of the concerns of the Louisiana and South Arkansas and Texas hunters, but it's not leading. It's just asking for a study to see if this is what's going on. And what they're saying is that here in the state of Missouri and down the Mississippi River corridor and other places, every state has flooded corn. Mm-hmm. There's been a push in the last few years of some of these private refuges. So they're basically, what these private refuges, are doing is they're planting, something in there, whether it be moist soil, which, smart weed, millets, sorghums, something like that, or they plant corn and they flood it. And most of the time, if they flood it, only half of the corn is accessible to the ducks anyway. Mm-hmm. But, these ducks use this as refuge, because if you think back and you go down Hog Ridge Road and go down Crown Road between Fountain Grove down to Sumner, when I was a kid, when you drove down there, it was, as far as you could see on both sides was timber, was pin oak timber, and they dropped the acorns. And the mallard duck loves that acorn. And we've lost so much of that habitat to farming and different, practices over the years that basically all these impoundments are doing are just taking the place of what those timbers held before. But they're mad because we're holding ducks at the end of the season, and the ducks they're not pushing on south. But there's so many reasons. I mean, we all know, as much as we want, I'm not one of those climate deniers. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to deny climate change is happening, because it's always been happening. I'm an old school creek walker. I go walk for artifacts, yep. Indian artifacts. And through the history of that, I've found out, for the last 20,000 years about what the history was, what the climate was in the United States, because all that research gives me a better idea to where to go look for these things at, right? So I know that less than 13,000 years ago, we had ice at Milan. We had a glacier that came all the way down to Milan. Well, I bet those ducks went way further south than that, back then. They went way further south than Louisiana. They probably went all the way down into Mexico to winter because it was too cold, right, to find food. Well, since then, we've steadily been warming a little bit for a long time. Now, I don't know if you, and when you were a kid or not, but I'm old enough to remember ice skating at the country club for a month in December and January.
Yeah.
The ice was 8 inches thick.
And that does not happen.
That does not happen. I remember every Christmas sledding with Niall, Noel, and Kirsten and my sister Leslie, sledding at my grandma's at the country club, sledding down the hill. Doesn't happen anymore. Mm-hmm. Those are things that we cannot control. So basically, there's just we all are wanting this study to happen. But I fear that this study is going to show the same thing as it's been showing for years. And now a few guys in the waterfowl community down south have riled up these people to a point where you get on there and do any sort of debate and try to give any sort of facts, and they attack you personally. It's like the political debates,
Yep.
If I want to go on there and defend my side, the very first thing I get back is, well, you're an idiot. Well, that doesn't help any of us. That doesn't get us closer to the facts or the truth, And some of these guys, commercial guys down south, Tony Vandemore for sure is, I know he's a strong man, and I know that there's a lot of of people out there that don't know Tony, at Habitat Flats. And, he's made a career, but, out of waterfowl. But I tell you one thing, I remember when I sat in the same draw room at Fountain Grove begging for a spot to hunt, and Tony was right behind me in line. We weren't always like this. Mm-hmm. We've learned over the years, and we've made improvements to make our duck hunting better. And I think he's getting, there's some people taking some pretty terrible shots at some of these guys.
Yeah, I do. I read his post, and he responds to almost every single comment. But I feel bad for him because they do kind of just attack him, and
they're attacking all of us. It's ridiculous. I mean, I could go on and on and on about it. My opinions are not going to change. Do the study and wait for results.
yeah,
And, hopefully it doesn't come down to the fact of who pays the most money. Hopefully we do the best thing for the duck. Mm-hmm. Because all this other stuff, all this year long making a lifestyle out of this, if our duck numbers don't improve, we're not passing it down to our kids anyway. It's about the survival of the duck, regardless of where it migrates to.
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, it's regardless of where we want the birds to be, it's what's best for the birds, probably.
And there's cycles. I mean, just like our white-tailed deer right now, the CWD controversy, that's another one. Chronic waste disease or whatever. I'm in the timber. I'm in camouflage right now. I didn't come from the timber today because it was too cold, but I spend a lot of time in the woods, How many of those CWD deer have I ever seen dead? Very few. But I can tell you one thing. We've killed a bunch of them somewhere or another. Because this farm up north that I used to hunt on for years and years and years, we don't see the deer anymore. So everything's in cycle. And, something like that, a friend of mine mentioned this morning, like our deer. Well, if you think about it, when our deer starts making a comeback, where are they probably going to make a comeback at? Where the best habitat is.
Exactly.
And so, it's
With
kind of
any
like that
animal.
with the duck.
Yeah.
We're in a cycle right now. And hopefully the ducks, we get a cooler weather, in the fall. I would love to go snow sledding with my grandkids. That would be great. Yeah. If those ducks push and I get the snow sled with my grandkids, it's a win,
Well, it's crazy because, I know, like, my kids have rarely seen deep snow. I mean, it's just not, which I remember deep snow all the time. I mean, it's not like I walked uphill both ways to get to school or something like that.
Did.
But I remember deep snow.
Mm-hmm. No, we don't see it anymore. And, that's part of the problem. And then with the loss of habitat. I mean, you think about, every time you go by one of these fields and you see one of those outlets that's coming through the levee, well, that whole field's drain tiled. So it's drain tiled because they want it to drain because they don't want it to flood so the crops will grow so they don't have to pump it off like we did, right? So that's lost habitat. If you get let's say you get a fall 3-inch rain and you don't have that drain tile there, well, you get a big puddle in the middle of the field. There's nothing more the ducks love than some mud and a little puddle in the middle of a field with some, some waste grain in it. They love that. But we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
I watched a program the other day where, I don't know if you knew this or not, because I certainly didn't. Our whole boot heel of Missouri, that little piece that's kind of odd that sticks down there, that whole thing was the United States' largest wetlands at one point, inland wetlands. It was the largest one. Tree companies and railroad companies bought it back in the 30s, I think. Don't quote me on that. But they bought it back in the 30s, 40s, or whatever, and they drained it. And they cut the timber off of it. Now it's agricultural ground. And it used to be nothing but waterfowl habitat. I think the state of Louisiana, I've seen reports up to 25 million acres or something like that they've lost of waterfowl habitat. Due to just a natural process, urban sprawl, people having to build houses, cropland.
What's your opinion? And again, I'm a total outsider, okay? It's not like I'm a hunter, but I'm around hunters every single day.
We live in Brookfield.
What's your opinion of the process where, they're drawing pills and numbers to get a chance to hunt? And
Well, it was a little different back when I was doing it all the time. Like at Fountain Grove Conservation Area. So give a little backstory so you guys know exactly what he's talking about. The conservation areas, the waterfowl conservation areas in the state of Missouri do a few of them. do a draw program. Back when I was a young man, back when Tony was standing behind me, and Tony Vandermoor was standing behind me in line, and Mark Bloss was there, and we were all, in our late 20s, early 30s, and that's the only place we had to hunt. When we stood in line, and if you had 4 guys in your party, one guy went up there, and he reached in this box, and he pulled a pill out, which is a little cube at the time, and you'd pull it out, and whatever number was on that cube is what your order of what you got to hunt. And then there was a big board on the wall that showed each blind, what they killed the day before, and all that business. And we did that every single day. And we were able to get in every single day. It's not like that anymore. Now there's a reservation program that you can sign up for weekly, or you can do a preseason drawing. Preseason drawing, you put in for it, and before the season starts, they let you know whether you've gotten a guaranteed spot, which will give you a date and what your pill number is, so you know when to go and what your selection is. The other one is an in-season drawing that you sign up for weekly, that they draw for, I believe, on Monday evening. And it lets you know during that week if you get one of those spots. So what they've done is this reservation program gets half of the spots. So just the guys driving down there, that they call a pour line, they get a shot at 50%. So if they're hunting 30 spots that day, 15 of them are already taken before you get to the door.
Right.
So there's going to be 15 left. I mean, when I was a young man and running around here, I could go down to Grand Pass, draw down there, and if I didn't draw in, I'd come back and there was extra spots left at Fountain Grove. I could just grab one and go. And now there's hundreds.
I was going to say, you got hundreds of people waiting for
right.
15, 20 spots.
And I don't know the best way for it. I mean, obviously, if you're a local guy, you want less reservations because you can be there every single day at the drawing. It makes total sense to me if you're a local guy that way. If you're not, then, it makes a lot of sense that you would like the reservation system. You would like to know before you get there whether you're going to get in, who wants to drive 4 hours to be turned away.
Right.
But people do it all the time.
Would you prefer a system where it was just first come, first serve?
I don't think that makes it fair. I don't think that makes it fair. What I think is that the out-of-state folks should be eligible for the preseason drawing only. The in-season drawing should be for nothing but in-state license holders.
Okay.
Residents of the state of Missouri, and they should be able to get in it. And I think that makes it a little more fair. Maybe do a little bit more pour line numbers. But I really, I've talked to the guys down at Fountain Grove. I did some bird banding down there, and I'll give you some pictures. You can put that on there. We put some GPS collars with some students out of University of Tennessee, a 5-year program they're doing here about the migration pattern of our mallards. We are doing studies already, so, and I got proof. I'll get pictures of it. So we went up there one night, me and Scott and Jody, and we worked with these students, and we put GPS radio trackers on 30 some odd mallards, and we banded 36, put trackers on 34, and we banded like 15 or 18 pintails, so they can track them.
Yeah.
Every 5 minutes or so, these birds are checking in. Obviously, I don't have that information. I wish I had the cheat code, Nate. The cheat code for that would be nice, like know what these birds are doing. They're pretty good about giving us information, post information, which is just as effective as anything. But I had a chance to talk to some of the Fountain Grove guys that were there that night. And, they're even going to simplify it more. They're going to have a kiosk in there at some point. And everything's going to be on the wall. Basically, you go in there, put your numbers in, and it tells you that fast whether you're hunting, where you're hunting, and what's going on, and it'll just check them off the board. Yeah. It's just,
I guess that eliminates the line of...
It does.
So you just go in, check, and it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know if there's a way to make it fair for everyone. I'm fortunate I don't really have to do it anymore. There is times we'll all go do it when the hunting's really, really good because I love the nostalgia of it. It's there's something about being in a room, with 200 or 300 guys packed shoulder to shoulder that are all there for the same exact reason, to pull the number one pill and to kill that elusive 4 mallard drakes.
Yeah.
It'll make you spend a bunch of money, make you go broke.
I was fortunate enough to, I worked on a book. It was the history of waterfowl in Missouri. Worked with the conservation department on that, and I mean, it's this thick, and it just goes through different hunting cabins and places, and the history here is very, very rich and deep, and it's really interesting to
Well,
learn about.
you made this hat right here. This,
One of my favorite hats.
yeah, Lucy Timber hat. You know, good friend of ours owns it, named Mike Landau, and we take care of it for him. And it has a book that, you know, some of the logo stuff that we've used is actually hand drawings on that book, and that book goes back to 1913.
Yeah.
And I can tell you one thing, you guys don't think the weather don't affect these ducks. I can tell you in that book, you got to get up to the 1970s before our waterfowl hunters in Missouri were even hunting in December. They were froze out in November. Just,
Yeah.
it ain't as cold as it used to be.
It definitely has changed.
And it's, you know, and the thing about it is our duck numbers are down. You know, our duck numbers are not great. And I think, you know, it's tough to know whether they're being manipulated by, you know, by the people that are doing the numbers. And, you know, when you fly a plane over top of 100,000 ducks, how do you know it's 100,000 and it's not 20? I mean, I've looked at lots of ducks, and it's tough for me to guess at 51 years and doing this for a long time how many ducks are on the ground at one time, you know.
Sure.
I know they have a process for doing it, but it's just, I wonder how accurate our numbers are. I had a great season, and it was only because of a lot of hard work and having great friends and great places to hunt.
Yeah.
But I don't think everybody had such a great season. You know, I think there was a lot of local guys here that had it rough, and it was just kind of the way the birds came in this year. It was kind of tough, but I go by the stick and stay mind, you know, state of mind. If I get in a blind and I think there's a chance that I might limit out before the end of the day, I'm probably not getting out of it till dark.
Sure.
Most people won't do that.
Yeah.
They'll leave at noon, but anyway, I don't know. The corn topic is, they call us cornholers now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I don't know that they know how big of an insult that is, seeing I'm not from Nebraska. But so, you know, it is what it is, and
It's a hot topic.
and they'll get it figured out, and you know, and hopefully it comes down to the fact is that we're taking care of the mallard duck, and that's the very first thing on the list, because as hunters, you know, we're down the list of ways. The mallard duck and its habitat should be number one. So we'll figure out who's right on that.
Yeah.
Until then, we're just going to be yelling at each other.
Yeah. You got to let the people smarter than us figure out all the science and the data, and then do what's best for the bird.
No, I know, and they use big words that I don't understand. So
Oh man. So something else you're involved in. We talked about it a little bit. We got that casino night coming up.
yep.
Let's explain to people what that is.
Well, I wish I really knew a little bit more about it. I got contacted a couple weeks ago and asked if I would help. But I'm assuming
That's for the chamber.
It's at the chamber. It's the Chamber of Commerce. They're doing it. I'm sure it's a fundraiser to handle some of their.
I'm just drawing a blank. What night is that? That's
31st.
31st. Yep.
The 31st, and I believe we're at the Y. Is that right?
Sounds right.
Maybe we should look that up.
I'll look it
Why
up.
don't you look that up, and I'll explain what I'm doing.
Well, we cannot. There won't be events at Locust Creek anymore because we have a new church coming to town.
I heard that.
So you know that's exciting news.
It is.
Casino night.
It is, and you know, anytime we can get a church in town with a full parking lot, that's a good thing. You know, they asked me if I would deal cards, so I guess we're gonna do the casino type stuff. You know, we're gonna play blackjack. I'm assuming some people are gonna play poker. I'm in charge of a roulette wheel, which I'm really excited about. I'm not a gambler. I don't know a lot about roulette, but I did watch the show with Bob Barker. What was that? It was kind of a big roulette wheel.
Oh yeah, Price is Right.
Price is Right. It's right. That's right.
Okay, so casino night, January 31st. Doors open at 4:30 at the YMCA. It's open to the public. Tickets are $35. They're available in advance at the Chamber office up here on Main Street or Quinn Lumber. Tickets include dinner and $25 casino play.
Ooh.
There's a gun auction for a Browning A-Bolt 300 6.5 Creedmoor.
6.5 Creedmoor. Mm-hmm. Tell you what, those guns are a big thing around here. Boy, you put a gun auction up or a gun raffle, and you got yourself something.
Yeah, people are going to show up.
Yeah.
Let's see. We also have Mom's Breaking the Silence. They got adult prom on March 7th.
Oh yeah, my wife and the girls have been talking about that.
Adult prom.
I don't know that
a
I'm
good
gonna.
time.
I don't know that I'm into it myself, but they seem to be.
Yeah, I think
they want to do the dress up.
They like dressing up. This year's a Mardi Gras masquerade theme.
Ooh, now if I could go masked,
Yeah,
nobody would recognize me.
Well, they would see the beard.
Yeah.
Another one we got coming up is the
A little further off's the Main Street auction.
Main Street. That's where I was going.
Main Street auction. That's the
Main Street auction is going to be March
14th.
14th. That next weekend. It is the
Back
to the Future. Back to Main Street.
So my question is this: do I shave up and get a jumpsuit and go as Biff? Because I kind of like, I didn't like Biff. Of course, everybody hated Biff, but I kind of like it because I like the Adidas jumpsuit. Right? Okay. I mean, come on, dude. The old Run DMC jumpsuit, that's fire.
Probably.
But hey, look at this. Throw this hair out with a little hairspray. I think I got a Doc in me.
Oh my goodness, I can see it. As soon as you said that, I could see it.
Huh? Get me the little Tyvek white suit with a little, the nuclear symbol right here or something. Man,
that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a fun event. That's another one.
It's $35 a ticket.
Yeah, 35. I don't have all the details on that.
Well, I can give you all the details on that. I'd be on the committee. Right now, we're looking for sponsors. Sponsorship is $100 to get your advertisement on our website, which we also hold a auction on our website. So the auction items will be up there for like a month. So your advertisement will be up there for like a month. And Cheyenne and Tristan do a great job on that. I think they got it this year.
Shout out to Tristan Levandusky. That dude's volunteering maybe more than anybody right now.
He's balling.
Yeah.
He's balling.
Huge help.
Yeah, he is. And you know what? He's a thorough thinker. I like the dude. Mm-hmm. I always have. I mean, I've known Tristan since he was a little kid, It was funny the other day when we were in the Main Street office and Cheyenne introduced him for 3 minutes. And I'm looking at Tristan, and he's looking at me. I'm like, I finally turned around and I was like, Tristan, I don't think he knows we know who each other are. I mean, I went to school with his brother, I mean, I know Tristan for a long time, but very super smart family right there, the Levanduskis. Sure. They are highly intelligent people, and Tristan is no exception in that. He's a super smart guy, and apparently, this is where he stowed his hat in the ring, and we're happy to have him.
Yeah.
He's
that's a trend I've seen recently is more and more volunteers, new volunteers. And
people I don't even know.
I know. I'll see them post, and I'll be like, what's that person's name? Who is that? And I'll be like,
let's go.
Glad to have you.
Glad to have you.
Good to see you around.
Yeah, welcome on board. Actually, there was 2 gals at the last Main Street meeting. What was our very first one? I'm sure you saw the video I did. Maybe welcoming, everybody to the auction, letting everybody know the theme, and everybody there's like, oh, don't do the video. We need scripts and we need this. I said, I need one take. Just roll the film. Ian's got this.
So I think a lot of shows and different things use teleprompters and all these things, and we might jot down like some notes or something, but it's always just off the top.
Yeah, that's the best part.
What happens.
And that's what we did on that. And so, if you guys, just like the Chamber, just like the Moms Breaking the Silence, we're in a social media world, guys. And get out there and get on their Facebook pages and share this stuff for us, for Moms Breaking the Silence, for the Chamber of Commerce, for downtown Main Street, because not only are you getting a chance to pass that stuff on to the next person, maybe your friend out of town who might want to get involved or whatever, you're seeing our content.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We want you
Yeah.
to see what we got coming up.
And you never know who will see it and maybe want to give to the auction or just be a part and not be here, but be part of it.
Yeah, and we're doing, and as things progress here on social media and things, I think the program that Cheyenne's using now and a lot of people are using now, they have these auctions, these live auctions, and I think you can participate online.
Yeah.
You can watch it live and participate and bid and do all the stuff you want to do right there. So, the people, because I know that we both know there's a ton of people that love Brookfield, don't live here
Yeah.
and don't have the time to come help.
Yeah.
But
And there are people that want to help, but they don't know how, they don't know where. So, I mean, if they can hop on and bid on something, that's something that works out great.
so we covered those. Now we have another new thing going on, and I want to ask you about it because I want to learn a little something about it. Let me know about the leadership program you guys are running with the kids.
Yeah, this is exciting. It's something that we started talking about last year, and it was myself and some of the football coaches, and I think historically maybe we feel like we've had a lot of great programs in sports, whatever sport you want to pick, but maybe we just lacked some of the character traits that may have put us over the top, and we see kids now. Times are changing. Maybe their attitudes are different. Kids don't show up to practice as much. They have a lot of reasons why they don't come to practice. And I understand that kids deal with a lot more now than ever. Totally understand. But we've started to kick around ideas of how we could instill traits that are just going to help students in life and on the court, the field, the mat, whatever you want to pick. That they're just character traits that they don't get taught early enough. You show up at high school, it's hard to be able to overcome adversity and have accountability and be a good teammate and have respect for your team, yourself, your coaches. So many things go into it. When you're looking at having a championship team, each player probably needs 80 to 100 character traits that it's hard to instill in them through practice, a couple hours a day.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah.
So we've developed this program where once a month, so it keeps it simple, they're
Very
not
simple.
overwhelmed. Once a month for 8-9 months, they come in for an hour and a half, and each month has a different topic, a different thing that we'll cover. And we're trying to get several guest speakers lined up. There's incentive for the kids to complete the course. They'll get it's a blue collar theme. So we're really trying to teach them to put the bricks down to build the foundation to being a good teammate and a good leader. So at the end of the course, they will, upon completion, if they only miss one or less, they'll get a hard hat. And if they complete the entire course and they don't miss any sessions, they get a golden brick. So we're just trying to help kids be able to be out on that field, things go wrong, and have the grit to overcome those things.
Now, when you say blue collar, is that more of? Are you saying are you teaching traits as well? I mean, when you say blue collar, I mean you're not Mike Rowan this. You're not
No.
looking to get kids into electrical work or something like that.
Just
No,
those character traits.
the character traits of
Yeah,
a blue collar guy.
And
Okay, I got you. Blue collar woman.
we opened it up for any student. It really, if you go sport specific, well, then you're trying and fit it in a certain spot of the year with a certain group. And we thought, let's just help students across the board. They don't even have to be an athlete. So it's really cool. We're looking for sponsors. It's $200 if you'd like to be a sponsor. That helps pay for the kids' because we've put packets and things together through NCM, and we're going to try and get them all T-shirts, and we're trying to get guest speakers to come in. And you got 100 kids. We're going to have times where we need to feed them, things like that. So a lot goes into it, but it's just the start to something that hopefully they can do annually.
Mm-hmm.
There might be tiers or levels to it, where if you complete it this year, next year you have a different course, and then those new kids coming in have a different course.
Yeah.
But
Get into a mentor portion.
Yeah.
Where after a couple of years they could be mentors to the,
Yeah,
to
well,
the new students coming in.
I think the main thing that bothered me was kids confuse popularity with leadership. And it's far too often that the most popular kid may not be the best leader. And that may not be their fault. They may not really understand what it takes to be a leader. But if someone's watching you and you're constantly arguing with officials, or casting blame on your teammates, or, talking bad about your coaches outside of practices and the game, those things add up. And when kids see that, they start to feel like it's okay if they do that too. And we want them to understand what being a leader is.
Yeah, well, it's a little different, when I was playing sports, because you had a healthy respect for your coaches, because you really didn't want them to turn your helmet around backwards on your head, or kick you in the rear as they were sending you to the bench.
Yeah.
So it's a little different world, and I get caught up in that. I get caught up in that good old days. This is how it's supposed to be, 3 yards in a cloud of dust kind of deal, and it's Niall and you and a few others have kind of brought me along a little bit. It's a different game, kids are different. You can't treat them the same as you used to be able to. And so I understand why you guys are doing that. And, and it's a great deal, because facts are facts. We've gotten there, but we've never summited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've gotten there, we've never summited. Now the wrestling team has.
Yeah.
The wrestling team has, with a lot of work, and with, some, just some tremendous athletes. We've made it there before. And, but as far as in basketball and football and some of these other sports, we've gotten there.
Yeah.
And we're happy with what we've had.
Well, sure. I mean, we've been to the district championship game the last 2 years in a row. And you get there and it's like, man, you look back, what could we have done differently? Is there something that we could have really instilled in these kids earlier on? It really, you look at a team like Lee Summit. I don't know if you watched what happened to them this year, but they started their season 0-4.
I did.
And then they went on to win the state championship. And I often was thinking throughout the course of that, was like, man, how hard would that be here if we start 0-4 to get everybody back on board, totally change our philosophy, our procedure, everything, and then finish it out and win it all.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I mean, there's got to be something that some of these other programs are doing differently, because the kids aren't different.
Right.
The kids are the same, and you look at, my buddy lives down there, and my brain's escaping me right now. The 2A team down there in Jeff City.
Blair Oaks?
Blair Oaks.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy lives there. His daughter plays basketball at Helias, but he lives in that area. And, I drive by that stadium, and I drive through that town. I go down there and go goose hunting with him on the Osage River. So I'm down there a few times a year, and I drive by that stadium, and I drive by that school, and I look at it, and I go, there ain't nothing special about this place. It's just a regular football field that ain't no different than any other football field we go to. The school looks like a little tiny school. I mean, it ain't as beautiful as Brookfield, and you think, how are they doing it?
Mm-hmm.
How are they doing it? And they're not paying players. They got some great, they got some great women and men, adult mentors and leaders out there that are helping just like that to make a difference, and boy, I sure hope this makes a difference, because, the toughest game you'll ever go to in football, in high school football, is the very first game when you come back after you've graduated. It's tough. It's hard on you. And the emotion is crazy. And it took me a lot of years to get, a few years to get to where it's like, all right, somebody knock us off the top. I'm sick of this. We need a state championship. We want a state championship. The kids want a state championship. The town wants a state championship. Mm-hmm. It's time. And each year we get there, and it reminds me of how special the people I played with were.
Yep.
But it was different. We leadership came because we were together every day. We were down there at Graff Field playing together every single day. And leadership, our leadership came because our coaches instilled in us that, at a young age, that this guy's our quarterback and you're going to protect him at all costs, and he's going to be your leader. And we just happened to have a young man, Luke Austin, that stepped up and was a leader, and kept us together, and you're right. It's not always the most popular guy or the guy talking the loudest.
That's another thing. Yeah, it's the loudest guy isn't always the best leader on a team either. It's tough, and I think kids now they're so afraid to stand up, be different, be loud when necessary.
Well, failure's on a huge stage now.
Yeah.
Only thing I had to worry about when I failed on a football field was the people that were there.
Well, now you fail, and I mean everybody's going to know about it. It's probably going to be recorded. I mean, heck,
somebody's probably going to heckle you online.
Local news station or some podcast group might be at your game, and you're going to have to relive that forever.
Yeah.
So we're very fortunate. We have a great core coming back for football next year, so we should be competitive. Schedule did get harder. Highland, who was a Clarence Cannon foe, they no longer wanted to play us, which we're fine with.
Yeah, it's okay.
So, and then Polo left the conference, so we replaced those games with Monroe City and Lafayette County, so Higginsville.
Oh, baby.
So
we needed that. That's okay. That's
you got
okay for us.
two tough teams, which is what we want. You want to play. If you want to be the best, you're going to have to play.
Yeah, what was it? Where did Monroe City end up? Who did they end up getting beat by?
So
not Monroe, Centralia. Centralia had a tough start, didn't they? Didn't they lose a game or two right off the get?
Well, they lost to Monroe.
They lost to Monroe.
And then they played Blair Oaks. And they were actually beating Blair Oaks, I believe, at halftime.
Yeah.
And they lost. No quote, 18-6.
They gave Blair Oaks the best game they'd had
year. All season.
All season.
And then, we went and watched, Xander and I went and watched Monroe City play the week after us. They played Mid-Buck, and they beat Mid-Buchanan. Then they went on to play St. Pius. They're in Festus and St. Louis. They lost that game. So
I lost a quarterfinal game to Monroe City myself at Monroe, so it was all too familiar when we were down there this year. We played well.
I'm pretty sure I was at that game.
Yeah.
I remember crying.
I cried
as I left as a little kid.
I cried. It was my senior year.
I don't remember the score. 21 to.
Yeah, we got off to a big lead, like 13-0 or some crud like that, and ended up losing it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just one of those deals. It happened a long time ago. But that's great that you guys are doing this. I saw in one of your pictures you had old buddy Matt Parn up there stomping around. Looked like he was talking to some folks.
Yeah, he's really the leader of it. I mean, kind of he had the idea and the concept and started bringing people in. He and Coach Luke, and then it spurred, just kind of spread into all the coaches. So you've got volleyball coaches, basketball coaches.
Great.
And all the coaches are there, but they're teachers too, because we were sitting there talking as we're trying to plan this, and sometimes your softball team has a great leader.
Oh yeah. And
you know what'd be great to expose that leadership to a football player. So each month, we group the kids differently. So they're at a table with a different person, a different group. They have group activities where they're trying to brainstorm and think of different things. So we've got activities planned, so when it gets warmer, we can do things outside. How do you just kind of take the best traits of some of the kids you've already got and expose that to kids that don't hang out with them, they don't know them, they don't see them?
Well, I remember one of the biggest things that happened in my football career, and I still remember just spurred me on when you talked about that, is the captain of the cheerleading team. Well, she wasn't then, she was a freshman, but Melissa Christ, I think it's Melissa Gordon. No, not her sister's married to a Gordon. Mm-hmm. But Melissa Christ, anyways, I can't remember her married name. But anyways, I told Melissa one time we lived on the same street and we were playing basketball one night, me and Aaron Barker and our Foursquare or something, whatever we did at night, And I remember telling her, I said, I'm gonna start on that football team. And she said, you know what, I think you will. And she doesn't realize that I was just kind of flexing a little bit. I didn't really realize I was going to start as a freshman. But when she said, "I think you will," I was like, wow, maybe I can.
That's what it's so powerful to hear somebody just believe in you. It could be anybody. It just if you think someone believes in you, all of a sudden you think a little clearer, you try a little harder, you breathe a little easier. I don't know. It makes a difference.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. And I think this leadership program is nothing but a great idea.
I'm pretty excited about it, and I really hope it continues to grow. Like I said, huge thank you to Matt Parn and Corey Luke and Scott Stevens.
Have some of those guys just stopped sleeping at this point?
I
I mean,
wonder-
does Parn, does Matt, does he rest? Does he sleep?
I mean, doesn't seem like it because he's always at a wrestling tournament or wrestling something. I mean,
Yeah, he took my grandson to his first wrestling practice, and he's not participating in tournaments this year. He's 7 and 6'7". He lives with us, so he's a lot of fun. I love Ezekiel, but and he's kind of getting involved in wrestling. He's a little bit of flopper right now, and that's okay. But I know he's in great hands. But I went to that first practice, and I got a text from Matt, and he goes, "You want to coach this year?" And I'm not ready to go back to coaching quite yet. I'm just not, because I know what a commitment it is, and I do not want to let those kids down.
yeah.
And during waterfowl season, I was committed after summer worth of work, and I was going to go ahead and see it through. But I think thank God there's guys like Matt out there and you.
Well, I love coaching, and I really wish. Sometimes I wish I would have went down that path more and done it, as far as like in a high school sport rather than just youth sports. But this year I coached my nephew's football team. Just really cool experience, but it was a huge commitment. You do have to give up most of your time.
Yeah.
It was fun though because we played all season. We went undefeated. They had a great season. Undefeated.
Come on.
And we had a game we played. It was in the pouring rain. It was against Southern Boone, and we ended up winning. But there was a picture. Matt Anderson, thank you to Matt Anderson. He takes pictures at all these sporting events. He took a picture of my nephew and I. He's the quarterback, and I'm on the field, obviously in the background. It's pouring down rain. It was just a cool picture. And he asked for that for Christmas as a poster. So I made this poster for him, and when he opened it, he was very excited. And it's like little stuff like that, little moments like that they'll remember that really make you thankful to be a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, coaching, there's nothing more. There's very few things as rewarding as coaching. The most reward I ever had in coaching was actually in a sport I didn't even like that much, in baseball. Coaching Colin when he was a kid, I loved it. It was a blast.
Yeah.
But there's in today's world with and I've been in this category and still there at sometimes. We don't have the best male role models sometimes for some of these young men that are growing up, and it's great to see some of you guys stepping up and getting in that gap a little bit, because I've been that dad that wasn't around, and I wish I had been, but I wasn't at the time, and thank God there was somebody like my stepfather and their stepdad Jerry that was able to step up and be good father role models at the time when I couldn't be. So it's great that there's people out there that are stepping in that gap.
I mean, there's no easy way to say it. I think there's a lot of kids now that are coming from some version of a broken home, whether that be a single parent or their parents are going through something. And I mean, it's in no way are we saying that they're not doing what they need to. It's we're trying to help. We just want to help. Put these traits in front of these kids so like maybe they'll make a different decision at some point in their life.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, if you guys can get a few people in to talk to these kids, that's amazing. I mean, I remember one time when Nick Lowry, the kicker of the Chiefs, came to Brookfield during the Centennial, and it was I remember him talking to us, and I looked at him like a god, at the time, and it's just something, when we get people from the outside to come in and talk to our kids, that are good role models, It's only going to make them better athletes and better for the community in the long run.
Well, exactly. I love to win sports, don't get me wrong, but if I really look at our community, some of these people will stay and some of these people will go, but wouldn't you like people to be more excited about their community, more involved, more quick to lend a hand? You know, those are important traits that help your community grow.
Yeah, because it's easy to point out the flaws.
Way too easy.
It's really easy because we got a bunch of them.
Yeah, we do.
You know.
Everybody does.
So what we got coming up? What we got coming up sports wise? We're mid season wrestling.
Yeah. We've
The girls.
we've got 4 seniors, I believe. The girls have been very dominant. We got a lot of good wrestlers there. The boys also are doing really well. I think we've had some injuries. Cameron Perry, some mass dislocation of an elbow. You got
Ooh.
Keller had a concussion. You got several kids that
That just
been
happens in
going
wrestling,
through
my
stuff,
friend.
yeah. So
People get hurt.
but hopefully everybody gets healthy at the right time.
I was just lucky to make it through, wrestling and I don't have to knock on wood because I ain't wrestling nobody anymore, but I made it injury free. But some of those guys that are out there, working their tails off every day to keep a weight,
Yeah.
things happen in a season. People get sick, things happen like that, and you got to have next man up mentality. Those boys got to step up and get in that spot and do the best because wrestling's a different deal. And I tell you what,
Tough.
this girls wrestling deal is amazing.
Oh yeah, it's grown so quick, and
It's grown
they're
the
so
sport.
talented.
Just forget about the fact that girls wrestling itself has taken on. It's grown the sport entirety. I mean, I'm following a gal that Daniel Hill. He graduated. We graduated together, and his wife Michelle, their daughter. I'm not sure what school she goes to, but she's up there in Kansas City. She's up there wrestling, and I follow them on Facebook, and she's wrestling everywhere. I mean, it's just amazing. And we got all these super talented girls here in Brookfield that are just jumping in and wrestling. It's
You look at like Jaden Keller. She just signed with William Jewell to go to college there and wrestle. I mean, she's been all over the world wrestling.
Tell me that William Jewell had a wrestling program. I didn't even know.
Yeah, and I think
I had no clue. Pretty good one, huh?
Yeah, so it's really cool to see the girls program booming. One thing I'd like to see added in wrestling. This is just me, my personal opinion. I think the boys, the men's, should have a super heavyweight division, a division past 285.
I'm surprised they don't.
Yeah, I wish they did.
I mean, even when I was in high school, because I was a heavyweight at like 200, anywhere from 212 to 220 pounds, depending on what time of day it was. But, I wrestled guys that had to cut weight in order to make the 285.
Yeah.
Big dudes. I remember I wrestled a freshman one time from West Platte, and he's out there running, he was a sophomore, out there running to make weight in between rounds. I'm like, geez, they're going to wrestle this monster? There should be.
Yeah, I
There
think
should be, and I'm surprised that it's not a main topic because we have so many big kids nowadays. I mean,
Well, that's
look
the
at
thing.
that! Look at that monster that just signed with from Seneca to the University of Miami.
Yeah, from Nixa, Jackson
Nixa.
Cantwell.
Yeah.
And he left. I
bet
he's
you
gigantic. He's like 6'8", 345.
Yeah.
350. Yeah.
Could you imagine if he had a weight class?
I can't. But he left at semester, and he's already following along with the team. So he'll be at the national championship game tonight, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's great.
He's also.
And I ridiculous. He should be at the University of Missouri. I'm going to go ahead and say that right now. Is there any chance you listening to me? I know it's too late, and that NIL money or whatever it is too important. But we should be retaining these unbelievable athletes to the
A
University
crazy
of Missouri.
stat I heard this weekend? I think it was this weekend. So kids now, they go to college and they enter the portal. They want to switch schools. They're trying to get
Money.
a different position, money,
Sure, whatever.
money. I think the portal still has like 3,800 players in it in D1. And I never had even thought about it. So let's say you're playing for whatever college, you decide to enter the portal, you're trying to leave, and no one picks you up, no one offers you money, no one goes to play. What do you do? Because you can't go back to your coach and be like, I mean, well, you can, but
Well, in
it's
some
tough.
cases, I'm
gotta
sure you
swallow
can.
it. But most of those kids won't, I doubt, and it's like those kids just are SOL now, I guess.
Go to school for what you're supposed to go to school for. Get an education, I guess.
Yeah.
Quit playing football, I guess, and get an education. That's probably what I should have done from the get-go. But
Well,
I'm
and
not sure it would have helped in lawn care, but it might have helped in finance. I don't know.
then you've got, like tonight, Indiana, I think their average age of their roster is 23, a 23-year-old. So I think there's an NFL team, I forget which, their average age is 25. So is that contributing to why Indiana's so dominant? Because,
Their players are older?
yeah,
I don't know. I think Indiana's coach spelled it out when he first got hired. He said, I win. Google me.
yeah,
I don't know. I'm behind Indiana. I guess I'm getting behind Indiana on this whole deal.
yeah.
I
mean,
hope they win a national championship.
I'd like to see it happen.
I don't know what'll happen. This whole pro football season. There's something we haven't talked about. It big Chiefs deal, but this season's been something else all the way around. But we've had some good playoff games so far. Some good ones, and I'd like to see.
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen the Patriots get stomped, but
Yeah, but
there's just something about Dave Portnoy, man.
you kinda
I like him. I like him a lot. I just stick to doing your pizza thing, man.
I tell you what, if I am scrolling through anything and he comes on with a pizza review, I'm gonna watch it.
Of course, I'm going to watch it.
Because I'm looking at the pizza going, I don't know how if it flops, has it got too much cheese, not enough cheese, what's going on, and I'm always stuck.
No, it's a little micro look at our. Every time he does one, it's a little micro look at where we are, as a country divided sometimes. Because I was watching that one and some guy just yelled out "Jew" or something like that to him, and you're like, what? The guy's trying to be funny. Leave him alone. What good did that do? But today we're divided. We're divided like crazy, and I don't know who's at fault and who to blame, but it's pretty divided out there.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah. But real quick before we move on, though, sports, I want to give a shout out to our basketball programs because we didn't say it. Our girls were in the third place game at the Milan tournament, and they lost at the buzzer to Green City.
I saw that.
50.
Yeah.
So
Good game.
So proud of them. And our boys, we had some kids off the team, hurt, whatever. Phoenix, Jordan, a great player we had, he came back. The other boys played really well without him, and he came back, and they won the fifth place game. So we play Tuesday night at home against Salisbury. Salisbury is a great basketball program.
Well, they got great athletics across the board right now.
They do, yeah. I mean, their football team was in the quarterfinal.
Oh, they were tough. I was rooting for
Quarterfinal.
them to go a long ways.
I was at that game. It was pouring down rain when they played Putnam County. It was just tough. It was 0-0 and at half, and then they ended up losing it. But
Speaking of Putnam County, what happened to them in the finals? They get stomped around pretty good.
yeah, Tipton. I mean,
Was Tipton just that darn good?
Tipton's pretty solid, and
I didn't watch
a
enough
running
of-
back that was just built like a tank.
I didn't watch enough of the game to really tell if Putnam County just played bad or what. But man, when we played them, I thought, whoa, this running attack they got is amazing.
Yeah, it really was. I still look back at that game, and we killed ourselves. We could have been up 21-7 at halftime, and I think it was just a combination of youth and
Oh, it was
some
just,
mistakes.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. It was a tough one to be there for.
mm-hmm.
I'm glad I was there. I seen the boys continue to fight.
yeah,
That was my first clue that I thought we had something. That loss was really my first clue that I thought these boys are better than I thought they were. Because even though the ball did not bounce their way at all, calls didn't go their way at all, they didn't play super well, they never stopped.
Yeah, they didn't give up.
They didn't give up and they played all game, and that's a attribute you can't teach.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, isn't that really one of the best traits you can hope for with your team? Is that regardless of what they're facing, they don't quit, because that's going to translate to life.
Mm-hmm.
So
How far are we in? How long have we been talking?
about a little over an hour.
Yeah,
I'm trying to watch it, so
we're getting pretty close.
we're getting pretty close. Real quick, we were talking about current news.
Current news.
So we pop into Venezuela.
We pop into Venezuela,
Did you see this?
of course.
Have you seen all the talk about? So our soldiers were like blaring Chief Keef, the rap music on the way in. They dropped down. We're using technology that no one's even like familiar with. A very small number of soldiers take out hundreds. Sounds pretty intimidating. Did you hear about all that?
Yeah, of course I heard about all that, and it, I mean, you look at, there's obviously two sides of it. I have and always will be an isolationist kind of when it comes to the United States. I really think that, staying out of most foreign affairs is in our best interest.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that it doesn't take a brain surgeon to look and see how close Venezuela is to us to see that it's pretty well right there, that it's pretty close to Florida there, and that means something. And I just was in awe, like you were, about how it went down, how they handled themselves. I get pumped up. I didn't serve. I often wish I had of. My grandfather was in WW2. My dad served. I was born in Germany on an army base. Something I didn't do. When I got out, which good and bad, I suppose, because I would have been in Iraq for sure. That was when it was going down.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's awesome to see the guys that I know that are in the military. I actually had an opportunity to hunt with two retired military guys. One of them is a highway patrolman here and been a highway patrolman here for a long time. Actually, at one point arrested me. And I was in the duck blind with him earlier this year and asked him what he thought about Pete Hegseth and how they were handling the military. And both of them fully retired, did their full stint. Both Marines looked at me and without taking a breath said, makes me want to re-enlist. So I don't know. The military guys that I talk to, and that's who I try to build my opinion around when it comes to these military things, because I really don't have a frame of reference. I can give an opinion, but I really don't have a frame of reference. When they say things like that, I got to think that's how it should be,
Yeah.
I mean, if our military is getting fired up about it, if they want to, if they feel like the cause is just enough to go put their life on the line, who am I to start throwing my opinion around?
Right.
My life's not on the line, So I kind of go with that. I think it was neat the way they did it. I guess only time will tell. Much like the corn topic, it's very divided. And like the corn topic that we had earlier, I think studies will be done, results will come in, and we will find out whether it was a positive or a negative. Yeah. But I definitely think, with the Greenland topic and the Venezuela and the Iran, I think that I think it makes more sense for us to wait and see. Why are we killing each other on social media and killing each other out here, insulting each other all the time when the results are not in yet?
Yeah.
We don't know how this is going to affect us long term.
Yeah, I mean, then you had like the Minnesota, the daycares that were,
Another thing,
apparently committing fraud.
Another
What
thing,
do you do there? I don't
results.
have a good answer.
We need results from studies. We need to have investigations. It's one side, you can't sit back and just put all the guilt on it. I mean, because we're in a country where you're innocent until proven guilty. That's the way it works. Mm-hmm. So, if there's evidence out there, put it forward. Let's have the investigation, and let's see who's at fault here.
It just makes you makes your head hurt to think maybe all the different areas where the billions of dollars are wasted all
Well,
the time.
I think that one thing that stirred on this debate with the daycares, adult daycares, and the travel and all the stuff that Nick Shirley turned up, or whatever, that's going on. I think it hits a little close to home with a lot of people, because if you're in a leadership role in any program, you know how money changes hands. You know how you get grants. You know how you get these things and how the money comes to you. And when you're in a place like small town Missouri, just like your little project up here, you were up till midnight the night before the grant was due to make sure that you had everything, all I's dotted, all T's crossed, to make sure that you didn't let down
Yeah.
the guarantor, where the grant was coming from, that you met your timelines. It's obvious that in some places that's not happening.
Yeah.
That this money is just being handed out with no roadblocks, with no parachute, with no bungee cord. We're just handing it out and they're jumping with it, and that's what it looks like. So, if you're in a leadership role and you know how hard it is to get a grant, how hard it is to get help from your state or federal government, then when you see that, just yesterday, a group out of, I think it was New Jersey, just got convicted. I mean, I'm not saying, I don't know if they were immigrants or anything like that. I just know the facts of it. They were guilty of fraud for $68 million in an adult daycare fraud situation. I think it was in New Jersey. And they just came out yesterday. They pled guilty. Well, you know what? $68 million, you know how much of that they have to pay back? Their fine? $1 million out of the $68 million. $1 million or 10 years in jail. I mean, it was crazy to me. It seems like there's a real disconnect between middle America and the way we operate here in the Midwest compared to what's going on coastal and in some of these places. I mean, the facts are this, Nathan. I knew the judge that put me in jail, that sent me to prison, and he did it because I broke the law, and I went to jail, and I went and paid my debt to society, and I came back out and I did my community service. It seems like there's a lot of people just getting away with a lot of stuff without consequence. And as long as we continue to do that, I mean, if I would have got away with it, I would be dead today. If the judge up here hadn't said, you know what, Ian, we're sick and tired of seeing you, it's time for you to go to prison, I may have never got clean.
Yeah.
I might not be able to sit here and talk to you today. Fentanyl would have got Ian. I'd be gone. It's time for some consequences on some of this stuff. But first and foremost, we have to remember they're innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly. And we don't, talk about, topics like this a lot on this little show. But I think what we lack is a clear reporting of facts on any topic, so you can make your own judgment. So there's no news source you can trust.
None.
There's no social media page you can trust. It's like, how do you even begin now with the state of where we're at to know with any certainty what is really going on?
Yeah, you begin here.
Yeah, that's
You
all
begin.
do.
You begin right here. Right with yourself, not trying to influence others. If that's your feelings, fine. But make sure that your I's are dotted and T's are crossed before you decide that you want to influence anybody anyway. I will. I try not to on Facebook anymore put out too much political stuff. I am a troll. I will say that right now. I do a lot of defending, but I get attacked a lot by doing that. And am I always right? No, I'm not going to always be right. But I shouldn't have to be attacked because of my opinion, and neither should they.
Do you find that, because I don't know, I haven't seen it. So in those instances, do you try to provide facts that show your side of an argument?
I never
do. They attack you?
I never
personally?
do. I've quit trying to put like screenshot and facts and putting those down in comments because it doesn't matter.
Once
Because
they have an opinion and they're just
well, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't matter because all they have to do is go to another source, screenshot a clip that backs up their, and then they'll put it right back in your face and say, "Look, you're an idiot," because that's literally what we got. You know, you got two sides, and you can either take the information off one side or you can take the information off the other. What I've chosen to do over the last several months and a couple of years is I get most of my news off YouTube. I have a few people that I feel like I trust. Things have changed. I used to be a big Tucker guy. I mean, I went and saw Tucker Carlson live in Kansas City with Megyn Kelly. I was so excited about it, taking pictures in front of the place with my dad. I love Tucker. Now Tucker and I don't see eye to eye on a few things, and I still watch him. I don't source all of his stuff anymore, and because and it seems like to me that even in the independent news community now, that we're even drawing sides down even more. We're even locking it down even further, because once these people get out from underneath the big money of CNN, the big money of Fox News, all that, now they have to make all their money themselves. Well, just saying everything's okay doesn't make any money.
no.
You got to say everything's burning down,
Yeah.
and we don't have a fire department.
People love controversy.
Have you been following? The fire department's been doing a good job of posting now.
Yeah, Bernie came in and we talked about it even. And matter of fact, that's another entity we want to get on the show. I need to reach out to Mr. Flynn and see. I'd love to get Bernie on here and talk about all the things that the fire department's got going on, because they've got very active. I think Griffin, I think, is doing
Justin.
I think he's doing a lot of that, and they're just killing it. I mean, from the mustache competitions to the training they do to the recaps. Yeah, I love them guys.
I don't know, but I hit them on a little joke the other day. They were their tool spotlight. Did you see that?
Yeah,
Did you see what I put down there?
I didn't.
I said there's a lot of tools up there at the fire barn. Kind of, little happy face. And you guys aren't tools. Love you guys. You guys do a great job. Thankless job.
Yeah.
Thank you for being part of our community.
Yeah, I've always been so fortunate. They've had me work on fire trucks and make them hats and shirts and embroider stuff. But beyond that, they're just great guys. So and they just care about the community, not only our community but surrounding communities. And as I know, all the local fire departments, teams, they do.
How about one thing we didn't talk about, and kind of at the end here when we're trying to close up, it's probably not a topic just to bring up, but I wanted to kind of spotlight something that I'd seen, a little work down on Helm Street and a pretty good Facebook presence that's come up with the clubhouse.
Oh, I'm so glad you did. So,
She reached out to me the other day about the Main Street program, wanting to be a sponsor.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So, Brooke let me know that that was come to town, and we made some shirts and some hats, and I just think that's such a cool thing that's going to be available here in town. It's for adults and kids.
That's what I was thinking.
Golf simulators, pool tables, the gambling little slot machine things are there. I can't even go through all the games that
It looked like there was an air hockey deal in there too.
They got skee ball.
Oh
and
yeah,
all
you
that
bust
stuff.
your knuckles on some air hockey, bud.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it opening. I really hope that people like just flood them with people, and that's something that would be really cool for us to have.
Yeah. Well, I sure appreciate sitting down with you again, man. I'm glad we've kicked off season 2.
Yeah, we've got me and you've got some stuff in the works.
John Stewart.
Yeah, so
We're gonna get John Stewart in here to talk some mental health and recovery.
we're gonna hopefully maybe we can get that next week.
We certainly can. I'm sure John's living here in town again. He's moved back in and working over at Preferred Family over at Trenton and going back and forth. And yeah, we just
I'm looking forward to it. I want to hear his story, and I've kind of watched from afar, but what a great guy.
do you know that John shared with me when I was in jail. When I was in jail, John brought the message of recovery into the jail where I was at. And at the time, I was going to concede to my charges and just leave on parole because I was sick of sitting in jail and just go to prison, finish my time, come back out on parole. And John's the one who directed me towards the treatment court program.
Really?
So it could be direct result. John could be a direct result of why I'm sitting here today. And just yesterday, I was able to carry that message to the same jail and watch those people sitting exactly where I was that day. I carried that message yesterday, and it was amazing. And
That's powerful.
it was emotion like I hadn't felt in my life, to be honest with you. It was an amazing thing, and I was absolutely honored and blessed to be able to do it.
Man.
So I'm looking forward to sitting down with John and all three of us having a conversation about it.
Yeah. We'll work on that for next week.
Yep.
That is the goal.
Lots of goals.
Yeah.
Lots of great things happening.
Yeah, and if there's something that needs covered in the area, if there's an organization that needs help, reach out. Let us know. We want to get going on it.
I want to be a part of it.
Thank you a lot, Ian. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro.
That's it. We'll see you next week, hopefully. That's going to do it for this week of That Stuff Matters. Come back next week. Who knows what trouble we'll get into. If there's somebody you would like to see on the show, message me. Let me know about it. Have a great week, everybody.
That stuff matters.